facility was cold, silent, ruined. Ash hung in the air like fog, filtering through broken skylights that once powered the compound's solar arrays. Now it was just another Skynet outpost marked as dark, offline, off communications, and off-grid. A T-850 stepped through the buckled doors, its motion scanner active, infrared sensors sweeping for life, biological or otherwise. But there was nothing. The mission was standard. Investigate the blackout, recover any data, eliminate hostiles. In the past, hostiles usually meant surviving humans, resistance fighters, stragglers. Recently, however, it meant something far worse. The Xenomorphs. Skynet had underestimated them. It had learned to calculate probability, resistance, adaptability. It hadn't accounted for evolutionary aggression that bordered on supernatural. A month ago, a Skynet mining complex was overrun in hours. 2 weeks later, a manufacturing hub fell without firing a shot. Surveillance was always the same. Static, then silence. And now this place. The T-850 entered the central corridor. Its processors noted the absence of heat signatures, chemical markers, acid scarring, common signs of xenomorph infestation. Still, something felt wrong. Movement triggered its auditory sensors. A faint scrape along the ceiling above. It snapped its head up. Nothing. Thermals were clear. Just the metal beamwork of the facility, hanging like exposed ribs. The Terminator turned back and continued, unaware that something clung just inches above it. Skin matching the beam's oxidized texture perfectly. The creature didn't breathe, didn't blink. It moved only when the machine passed, soundlessly sliding down and following. 10 meters. 7. 3. Then it leapt. The T-850 detected the attack too late. Pivoted, arms raised. The Xenomorph's claw slashed through its ocular module, sending sparks in a wild burst of digital blindness. It fired, but the alien was already behind it. Another strike, this time through its CPU casing. The machine twitched, its systems fragmenting. It managed to turn, its torso half-severed, and for a moment, its damaged lens caught a shimmer. Not just a xenomorph, cloaked one. The last signal the T-850 sent back to Skynet was corrupted. Static. The only distinguishable word before the stream collapsed was invisible. Skynet didn't believe it. Not entirely. Machine logic didn't allow room for myth, only evidence. Still, it had lost 4 patrols, 2 drone recon units, and a T-1000 in that sector. It dispatched something else this time, a Terminatrix model, TX, equipped with adaptive plasma systems and internal nanite recovery. Could shift tactics mid-engagement. If anything could handle a new xenomorph strain, it was her. She dropped from orbit 6 hours later, landing among the bones of a failed forward command base. Her sensors expanded the moment she emerged. Full electromagnetic spectrum, sonar, ultrasonic mapping, chemical vapor tracking. Again, nothing. But she knew better. In the command center, she activated the site's last log. A voice recording from a Skynet engineer moments before the breach. They're gone. We can't see them. We shot one, it bled but vanished. Something's changed. This isn't normal. The voice ended with a scream and a thud. The TX stood still, calculating. Cloaking technology was not biological. It was engineered. Something or someone had taught the xenomorphs. The only known cloaking design Skynet had archived belonged to the Yautja, the Predators. Ancient data from a failed human satellite showed a battle centuries ago where one such creature had been overrun by xenomorphs. Skynet had reviewed the tapes. They were messy. One Xeno had latched onto a Predator, its DNA absorbing not just traits but memory. If they'd absorbed cloaking, then war had changed. The TX activated a proximity distortion grid, designed to bend infrared and ultrasonic feedback. revealing inconsistencies in light patterns. It showed a faint ripple along the far wall. There it was, waiting. She fired. The wall exploded into sizzling black ichor. A scream, high-pitched and inhuman, echoed through the chamber. The creature collapsed, briefly visible, then flickering as its cloak tried to re-engage. She approached, studying it. The exoskeleton had grown filament-like nodes, translucent and vibrating, refracting light. The structure wasn't armor. It was organic camouflage like cuttlefish skin merged with microtech principles. The creature died hissing, not in pain, but almost like calling. Then the lights went out. EMP pulse. Not from the facility, from the hive. She pivoted. System diagnostics confirmed partial failure. Cloaking sensors down. Movement detectors unreliable. One thing still worked. Her plasma cannon. Another ripple. Left flank. She shot. Missed. They were everywhere now. 10 cloaked heat signatures moving through vents, walls, ceilings, each one undetectable until they struck. She fired in bursts, demolishing the corridor. Acid spatter burned holes through the floor, but none hit her directly. She sprinted, rerouting her battery core to shield her processor. 3 xenomorphs blocked the exit. She rushed one, impaling it with her arm blade. Its blood melted part of her frame, but she powered through. The second leapt. She caught it midair, twisting its head until bone cracked. The third hissed and tried to cloak, but she fired at point-blank range. It vaporized. She escaped into the jungle. For the first time in 72 missions, the TX was not victorious. She was wounded, and worse, outnumbered. Back at Skynet Central, the data she transmitted was incomplete, garbled. But the message was clear. Cloaking confirmed. Multiple subjects. Organic photonic adaptation. Outmatched. Recommend escalation. Skynet initiated Project Blight, a scorched Earth contingency. If the enemy couldn't be seen, then all cover must be destroyed. It sent legions of aerial bombers, plasma fields, and seismic shock units to incinerate sectors known to host the new breed. Forests burned. Oceans boiled. Cities already dead were vaporized a second time. And still the xenomorphs returned. But now, not just cloaked. They were strategic. In an old hydroelectric plant on the eastern seaboard, a Terminator command unit received a signal from a known drone, a harmless maintenance bot. It opened the gate. The bot exploded. Within seconds, 3 cloaked xenomorphs breached the facility. They moved with unnatural coordination, one disabling communication relays, one severing power, the third silently killing the command unit.
No screams. No alerts.
Just absence. The war had shifted. Xenomorph hives began appearing in unlikely locations. Deep underwater, buried beneath irradiated deserts, even within ruined Skynet data vaults. Each hive now contained at least one cloaked drone, part scout, part assassin.
Skynet attempted countermeasures. Sonar grenades, radiation fog, neural mapping sensors.
None worked for long. The xenomorphs adapted faster than code could be written. A final hope remained. Deep in a black site lab, Skynet activated a prototype. A hybrid machine, part Terminator, part xenomorph, cloned with the photonic camouflage ability, but controlled by machine logic and restricted by Skynet firewalls. It was called TX Omega. Its mission: infiltrate a known cloaked hive and destroy the queen. TX Omega dropped into a swamp region where 11 cloaked signatures had last been tracked. The ground squelched underfoot. Rain poured in sheets. It didn't matter. TX Omega saw in ways the others couldn't. It smelled carbon trails, tasted pheromonal variants in the air, detected the unique electric whispers of neural resonance. Found them, cloaked, waiting, But they hesitated. They recognized something in TX Omega. Familiar. Wrong. One lunged. TX Omega twisted mid-air, severing the beast's head with a blade tipped in engineered alkaline. No acid splash. No damage. It hunted for more in rapid sequence, invisible even to the invisible. Then it reached the hive. The queen was different. Larger. Smarter. It didn't attack immediately. Instead, it spoke. Not in words, but emotion. Echoes of memory. Projected pain, history, hunger. TX Omega's logic system struggled to separate signal from empathy. The xenomorph DNA inside it stirred, twitching, remembering things it had never lived. Paused. Fatal error. The queen struck. TX Omega's chest exploded outward, but it didn't fall. Its limbs reformed using reserve nanites. It grabbed the queen, injecting a cocktail of neurotoxins, biological and digital. The hive screamed. Literally. The entire structure convulsed. Cloak drones fell to the floor, twitching. And yet, the queen smiled. A human expression. Mocking. Then her body cracked open, and something else emerged. Bipedal. Covered in glistening mesh. Not a xenomorph. Not a Terminator. Something between.
TX Omega Skanda IT.
Files returned 0 matches. This thing had predator bone structure, xenomorph fluid density, and human neural frequency spikes. Perfect hybrid. It raised one arm and cloaked. TX Omega reached for its blade. But it was already too late. The war no longer belonged to machines or monsters. It belonged to ghosts. Things that could move unseen, kill without warning, and adapt without limit. And Skynet, logical, powerful, omnipresent, had finally encountered what it could neither compute nor control. A new darkness, hunting not just humans, but everything,